Everyone wants to make money. We all want to be rich. At the same time, we are pretty sure you know that the greatest key to enjoying a wealthy and very successful life is hard work. There is no contesting that. However, on this planet Earth, we have seen many people get very lucky and stumble upon money. Yes, it exists. Luck undoubtedly plays a significant part beyond hard work. Many rich business people worldwide became successful thanks to hard work and a bit of luck. Some are just too lucky to find fortunes that made them rich by accident. Yes, it happens and will still happen. This is basically what makes up the dynamics of life. Listen, this world that we live in is filled with several hidden treasures waiting to be discovered. Many of us have been lucky to find some of them and convert them into money, becoming instant millionaires very unexpectedly. So, in this video, we'll be exploring 12 of these lucky discoveries that made people rich in the most unexpected ways that you will never believe. Let's begin with the Hand of Faith gold nugget discovered in 1980. Kevin Hillier and his family stumbled upon this massive discovery in the fall of 1980 when traveling the Australian coast in a van searching for work opportunities. As the typical grass-to-grace story goes, Hillier had been undertaking odd jobs to make ends meet for himself and his family, but sadly had to reduce how much physical labor he could do after suffering a back injury. Interestingly, Hillier and his family's woes soon ended when he discovered a gold nugget in September 1980 with his metal detector. At first, this piece of fortune couldn't be pulled from the ground, but after several hours of careful digging, Hillier eventually extracted the gold nugget, weighing about 28 kilograms. Kevin sold the Hand of Faith gold nugget in February 1981 to the Gold Nugget Casino in Las Vegas for more than $1 million, and it still remains the largest gold nugget on display worldwide. On number 2, we have Hoxne Hoard. About 10 years after Hillier's discovery, a farmer was working his fields in Suffolk, England in November 1992 when he realized he had misplaced his hammer. To make his search easier, he asked his friend Eric to bring his metal detector to locate the missing tool. Little did this farmer know that they were about to detect more than just a hammer, but a piece of fortune that would turn their world around for good. Not too long into their search, Eric picked a signal and started digging in the soil to find out what it was. He soon discovered that he didn't find any hammer, but something much more exciting: several shovels of gold and silver mixed into the soil. As a law-abiding citizen, Eric quickly informed the police about his discovery, causing a team of experts to excavate the entire chunk of earth containing the coins, examine them under laboratory conditions, and realize Eric had actually discovered about 27 kilograms of gold and silver objects, including more than 15,000 coins dating from the Roman occupation of Great Britain. Phew! Breathtaking! Because he contacted the authorities immediately, of course, Eric no longer has custody of this fortune. However, in compensation, the British government rewarded him over $2.5 million, which was evenly split with the landowner, who eventually found the hammer that led to this discovery. Now, you may be asking, what about the farmer? Well, we do not know. Now, let us travel down to Africa, to Tanzania, where Tanzanite stones were discovered just recently. To put this in perspective, Tanzanite is a scarce mineral found only in one place worldwide, Tanzania, which of course explains its name. It is rare and automatically extremely valuable. Whoever finds this finds something worth more than gold. Literally. See, several people spend their lives searching for Tanzanite. That's how important it is for them. But of all of these people, Saniniu Laizer appears to be the luckiest after discovering this incredible rare mineral in June 2020 during his mining operations in Tanzania. To be more specific, Laizer found the largest examples of the mineral ever recorded, weighing 5.1 kilograms and 9.3 kilograms each. Saniniu sold both minerals to the Tanzanian government for over $3.4 million and has gone ahead to live a much better life, catering to 30 children. Legend has it that this miner discovered another huge piece of Tanzanite just 2 months after his first discovery and sold it again for about $2 million. But is this true? Well, this may just be a story for another day. So let's move on to the Black Opal discovered in Australia in 1999. Bobby decided to sell his equipment and retire from opal mining, a career that lasted over 20 years. But just before he did, he discovered a beautiful opal that he eventually named the Royal One in the last bucket he had mined. Of course, as an expert and well-experienced miner, Bobby knew how valuable his discovery was. However, for reasons best known to the now retired miner, he kept it safely hidden under his bed for over 14 years and sometimes hung it around his neck in a kangaroo skin pouch. Eventually, the Royal One was auctioned in 2013 in Santa Fe, New Mexico for over $3 million. And the rest, they say, is history for Bobby. Our fifth lucky discovery is the Heade's lost painting, The Magnolias on Gold Velvet Cloth. So it happened that a man who refused to disclose his name was playing Masterpiece, a board game about fine art, in January 1999 when he recognized a picture that was painted similarly to a painting he once used to cover a hole in the wall of his Indiana home. Curious, the man searched the internet for answers until he discovered he was holding the original copy of the painting by an American artist named Martin Johnson Heade. So it makes sense after all. As the records say, the artist actually lost his work several years ago, and since then, no one knew its whereabouts. Who could have thought that a man playing a harmless game could have discovered the original work painted in the 1890s and eventually got to sell it for more than $1 million to the Houston Museum of Fine Arts? Unbelievable, to be honest. But that's not the only unbelievable discovery. Crosby Garrett Roman helmet, found in Cumbria, United Kingdom, is another perfect example. In the United Kingdom, you must report whatever important archaeological finding you make to the relevant authorities. It's almost impossible to sell valuable materials like silver and gold privately. You have to report them. And to support the cause, you would be paid a fee called the finder's fee once your discovery has been confirmed. But this wasn't the case of this discovery. First, it's made from bronze, so it doesn't fit into the categories of findings covered by these laws. An amateur metal detectorist found this bronze Roman cavalry helmet still in unbelievably good condition on his farm in the United Kingdom in May 2010. Because he was out of the jurisdiction of the laws, this detectorist sold the precious artifact for $3.6 million to a private collector during an auction in October of that same year. There's no need to waste time on that, you know. Many Americans consider the Declaration of Independence the most important document in the nation's history. After the original, more than 200 first edition copies were replicated by John Dunlap to carry the message of the Declaration across the nation effectively. Of these 200 copies, only 26 are known to survive, with 3 of them currently in the hands of private collectors. Again, one of these rare copies was discovered behind a painting that a collector bought because he liked the frame. Little did he know that the frame he liked houses a rare artifact that would bring him unexpected riches. The unspeakably fresh first edition copy of the Declaration of Independence was ultimately sold at an auction in 1991 for $2.42 million, thanks to its uniqueness. But guess what? Things got even more interesting when this same copy auctioned in 1991 was resold 9 years later in 2000 for $8 million. Boy, that is a cash cow right there. On number 8, we have the Staffordshire Hoard. Terry was an amateur metal detectorist when he encountered an area in Lakefield, England, with a uniquely strong signal in July 2009. Because of his knowledge of valuable metals, Terry knew he had discovered a fortune and soon began to uncover the chunk of soil. To his surprise, he discovered an astonishing stash of weapons, ornaments, and gold buried for over 1,300 years. This stash was eventually named the Staffordshire Hoard, otherwise called the War Hoard, and is believed to have been buried during the turbulent period of England's history. This lucky discovery made by Terry was bought by the Birmingham Museum for about $4.3 million, with the money split evenly between Terry and the landowner where the fortune was found. Away from the United Kingdom and the United States for a minute, let's go to France, where another painting, Christ Mocked, was discovered in 2019 and sold for about $26.8 million. So, this story is very similar to the discovery of the Magnolias on Gold Velvet Cloth painting. However, unlike the one discovered during a game, Christ Mocked actually hung over a stovetop in a French farmhouse for decades and had already been darkened by the stove's heat, leaving it covered in grease and dirt. But luck shone on both the painting and the finder in September 2019. The finder, an auctioneer, was categorizing the belongings of the elderly owner who was moving out of the place into a retirement home when he found the painting and began to inspect it very closely. After thorough cleaning, he identified the piece of art and realized it was one of the only 11 known paintings created by the Italian artist Cimabue. The auctioneer immediately put the artwork up for auction and eventually sold it to two US-based collectors for about $26.8 million. On number 10, we have the third Imperial Easter egg by Fabergé. The Russian Revolution is popular for several things, and one of them is the confiscation and eventual sale of the many golden bejeweled eggs created by master artist Peter Carl Fabergé. Beyond the cost of materials used to create them, these eggs hold remarkable value because of their fabulous designs and are regarded as the last remaining relics of a royal family and a way of life that has gone extinct in Russia. These Fabergé eggs have been very hard to identify and locate, primarily because they have been sold to private buyers in Western countries, and more than 8 of them are still missing to date. One of them was discovered by a man from the Midwest during a jumble sale where he bought it for $14,000. The man didn't know anything about this piece of art, but bought it to melt down and get money from the raw materials the egg was made from. Sadly for him, after appraisal, he realized he had paid more than he could get from the eggs. But his worries soon turned into blessings when he searched for the word egg and the word engraved around the clock, Vacherin Constantine, in Google, and stumbled upon a British newspaper that detailed the actual value of the egg. From thinking he had made a huge loss, this man eventually sold the egg for about $33 million in 2014 to a private collector. He has to be one of the luckiest men ever on this planet, truly. Then there is a 15th century gold pendant buried in a field. This one wasn't discovered by a man, but by a woman, a housewife in Hertfordshire. She discovered this 15th century treasure using a metal detector when walking on a field with her son. Buried just 4 inches below the ground, the gold pendant was a carving of the crucifixion of Jesus, believed to be a part of a reliquary depicting the Holy Trinity. She eventually sold the treasure for about £250,000, and boy, Shirley stepped into riches she had never experienced before then. And finally, on number 12, we have the 2,000-year-old butter found in a bog. Luck struck a turf cutter in June 2016 when he unearthed a 10-kilogram lump of butter from an Irish bog, believed to have been buried for 2,000 years. And this seems somehow logical. Back in those days, butter was luxurious in Ireland and was usually used as offerings to the gods. So, yeah, it kind of makes sense why it was buried. Thanks to the low oxygen supply in the bog and the highly acidic environment, the lump of butter was perfectly preserved throughout these years and is believed to still be edible, although not advisable. The discovery was eventually sold for an undisclosed fee, but what we know is that the turf cutter was smiling with riches after the sale was completed. Ha ha! With that, we have now come to the end of this video. If you found it exciting, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel so you get to enjoy more helpful and intriguing content like this. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next one.